Hello everybody, it's your boy Redstone9X here and welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's video we are going to be checking out the brand new Minecraft 1.21.6 update that just came out a few days ago. And it is called Chase the Skies Update, which adds in a new type of block, new passive mobs, as well as new and updated crafting recipes as well as functionality to some Minecraft items and other things as well. Now, this is actually the fourth update to add in new stuff since the last one came out a few months ago called the Spring to Life update, which that one added new blocks, new variants for certain mobs, and other things like that. So before we get into all the new stuff that is in this update, you know the drill. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss another video. Apart from that, guys, let's get into it. So first things first, we're going to go over some of the new updates to the saddle and also leads, starting with the saddles. And I'm going to grab this book right here. So first things first, saddles are now craftable. And to craft them, you need this. 3 pieces of leather like this, and 1 iron ingot in the middle. Look at this. So many saddles, and they're finally easy to obtain. So no more will you have to go scouring endlessly trying to find them or even fight off ravagers just to get saddles. You can craft them with ease. Perfect for your Minecraft pig, horse, and also strider. And of course for llamas, they want carpet. Like so. Also, let's put some horse armor in this guy right here. So let's go over a few more things. Saddles are now shearable as well. The same goes for other equipment like horse armor, carpet on llamas, etc. And what do I mean by that? Is that now you can take shears and right-click mobs with saddles on like this to simply get the saddle back. Same thing with horses. So in the case of horses that wear both saddles and horse armor, it's going to remove the armor first, then the saddle, if that makes sense. Same thing with llamas with carpet on, and same thing with striders. So this is a much easier way to get the saddles back, because before, you pretty much had to kill the mob in order to get their saddles. Well, except for the horses and llamas, because, well, you can right-click on them to get them back. But for pigs and striders, that's a different story. Okay, so let's go over a few more things. You can't crouch while shearing saddles and equipment off mobs or while the player is currently riding a mob. And you cannot use shears on ravagers to get their saddles, which is to be expected because, well, you just have to kill them to get the saddles from them. And shears inside dispensers cannot remove saddles or other equipment from mobs. So that pretty much means you cannot make like an automated system to removing equipment or saddles from mobs, so you pretty much have to do this manually, unfortunately. But it still gets the job done, regardless. Okay, so with that, let me put all this stuff away real quick. And we are going to keep the shears. And we're going to move on to the new stuff with leads. So I'm going to take this book and also put this one back. So the big thing about leads is that their crafting recipe has been updated. So to make them now, you just need 5 pieces of string like this. Simple as that. So before, you needed 1 slime bolt and 4 pieces of string in order to get it. And finding slimes can be a bit tricky nowadays. So this is a much easier way to get leads. So apart from that, leashes now look twice as thick, and leashed objects/entities will now face the entity holding the leash. So this is pretty much what I mean. So when I get this chicken right over here, as you can see, the lead looks much thicker than it did before this update came around. And of course you see that this chicken is mostly facing, or I'm facing mostly when I'm leading it with this lead. So that's that. Okay, so here's some of the new things that leashes can do now. So you can now use leashes to leash two mobs together. If you got a mob on a leash, you can shift right click on any mob that is leashable as well, and the two mobs will be leashed together. So this is pretty much what I mean. So let's say we're gonna grab this chicken again, and if I shift right click this cow, as you can see, they're pretty much leashed together. So now pretty much wherever the cow walks, the chicken will follow as well because, well, it's the one that's holding the leash to the chicken. See? Look at that. So this can make corralling mobs into pens much easier. And you can right-click mobs with the shears to break their leash connection. So when I grab the shears and right-click the cow, as you can see, it pretty much breaks the connection, just like so. So let me get this leash real quick. And let's move on to some other things. Hold on, let me do time set day. And let's move on. So shears inside dispensers can break the leash connection on mobs that currently have one. And the other thing is you can't steal other people's leashed entities, which is to be expected. The distance of how far you can go before leash snaps is now 10 to 12 blocks. So I'm not entirely certain what was the distance before this update, but I'm guessing it was relatively smaller than it is now. Oh, and the other way that this can happen is that, let's say you want to do something like this. And actually, you can continually leash mobs together like so. So now the dog is the one that's leashed together to all of these mobs right over here. And let's say that your dog teleports to you, like so. As you can see, that's how the leash can also snap. Is if you go too far away, that your dog will teleport, thus breaking the leash connection. And as you can see, the same goes for these mobs right over here as well. Oh, and yeah, that's the other thing. If you pretty much want to releash a mob, it'll kind of break the current connection, if that makes sense. So you can pretty much go crazy with this new functionality right here, as you can see. So that is pretty much all there is to it with the new updates to the leash, into their crafting recipes and functionality as well. Okay, so now we're going to move on to some of the new stuff that's been added. I'm going to put some of these items away. And I'm going to put this book back. So for this new block, we need to actually go to the Nether and retrieve it. Okay, so let me put this stuff away and also grab these items, just in case we run into some hostile mobs on the way. And this minecart system is actually going to take us to the Soul Sand Valley, which is where we're going to find this new item. So we're going to hop right in, and I'll see you guys when we get there.
2 hours later.
Okay, so we have arrived at the Soul Sand Valley. So I'm going to quickly grab this spyglass and also these boots with soul speed. And this new item is right over here. So this new item is called a dried gas. And these can only be found here at this nether fossil structure. or you can obtain one by crafting one through this crafting recipe. So you just need 1 piece of soul sand and 8 gas tiers right over here. Oh, and also, pretty much punching it with your fist or using a tool will get the job done nicely. And as you can see, it's simple to just craft one as well. Just like so. And we're going to hang on to this item because it's going to be useful for summoning a passive mob later in this video, so make sure you guys keep watching. And we've also got a new music disc right over here called Tears. And this item can only be obtained by killing a ghast with its own fireball. So you guys pretty much know the whole concept of what you have to do to get the advancement Return to Sender, pretty much deflecting a fireball back at a ghast. Well, that's pretty much how you can get this music disc. And you guys don't need to worry about it being like a low chance because this music disc is 100% drop, so if you do manage to deflect a fireball at the ghast and it's defeated, you pretty much will get this music disc 100% at the time. Okay, so now that you've seen that, we're gonna head back to the overworld so I can show you what else this dry ghast can do. So I'll see you guys when we get back to the overworld.
6.5 hours later.
Okay guys, we have returned from the nether, and we're gonna head into this little laboratory I made here. And I'll explain what all this is for a little later, but first we need to do something about this dried ghast, which will involve putting it in water. So I made this special hydration chamber right here. I'm gonna close this up, and we're gonna fill it up with water and see what happens. And this process can take quite a bit of time, so I'm gonna run this command to speed it up. So I'm gonna do tick rate 9999. Again, just to speed up the process. And also, you may see subtle changes when it's going through this hydration phase, so I'm gonna let it sit here so you can see how this goes. Okay guys, so the dry gas has finished going through the hydration phases, and also I'm gonna set the tick rate back to the way it was before. So we're gonna turn off the water and let this little guy out. So this right here is called a ghastling, and we are going to talk more about this little guy in just a few moments. Let me put him on a lead right here. So gastlings, they spawn in after going through 3 levels of hydration for 20 minutes, so that's pretty much how long it would normally take. But thanks to the command we just ran just before that, that sped up the process, but in survival you would really have to wait 20 minutes for it to fully turn into a ghastling, which are the young version of a happy ghast, which we'll talk more about that a little later. So after it spawns in, it will either follow players, adult mobs, non-aquatic passive mobs, or some of the neutral mobs that are within a 16 block radius of it. It will idle around within a 32 block radius if there are no players or suitable mobs nearby. And that is mostly assuming that it is not tied to a lead like it is right now, if that makes sense, and there are no players or other mobs nearby for it to follow. You can feed it and tempt it with snowballs. It takes about 20 minutes for the ghastling to grow up into a happy ghast, or if you feed it snowballs, it will speed up the process, which we're gonna do right now. So let's get a bunch of snowballs right here. Hey little guy, eat up. So the 20 minutes would pretty much be if you do not feed it snowballs like I'm doing right now. But once you feed it enough snowballs, it will grow up into a happy ghast. Oh, just like right now. So there you guys have it. We have a happy ghast. So let's talk more about it. So like the ghastling, you can feed it and tempt it with snowballs, which is to be expected. Can be written on using a harness, and we'll talk more about the harness in just a second, but only if the happy ghast currently doesn't have one on. Up to 4 players can ride on it. The first player on it controls it. All players after the first player sits on each side of the happy ghast, starting clockwise. The goggles of the happy ghast will flip down to cover its eyes when it's being controlled with the harness. The happy ghast will stop moving completely if there are players standing on top of it, whether it's got a harness equipped or not. Okay, so let's take this book, and now let's talk about the harness. So to craft the harness, you need 3 pieces of leather like this, 2 pieces of glass, and 1 colored wool of your choice to get this harness. And as you can see, you can make several different color harnesses right over here. So go ahead and try on your favorite color harness for your happy ghast and see which one you like. Okay, so we're gonna grab the red one and right click this guy. And this is what he looks like with the harness on. So like I said before, standing on top of the happy ghast, it'll stop moving completely. So this is pretty much perfect for when you want to do some buildings high in the sky. You can just stand on top of this guy and do some building as you please. Okay, so now a little bit more. In terms of controls, so you would use the normal ASW keys to move around, like other rideable mobs. To go up, you would either press the space bar or look up while holding the W key. And to go down, you would just hold the W key while looking down. So let me open up the roof so that we can take this guy for a spin. And also, you can see it's much bigger in third person when you control it. So as you can see, I'm pressing the space bar to go up. Going left, right, and then backwards. Looking up to go up. And holding the W key while going down. And by the way, you cannot press the space bar while moving forward to go up. You have to make sure you stop moving so you can use the spacebar to go up, if that makes sense. And also the ghast looks pretty nice when it has its goggles down when you're riding it. So a little bit more information. Their health slowly regenerates and it speeds up whenever it's raining, snowing, or when it's flying at the same height as the clouds. The roaming radius for it is 64 blocks. When it is wearing a harness, it's 32, and when it is on a leash, it's 10 blocks. And when the player dismounts from it in mid-air, it will first descend to the ground before roaming. So let's say you pretty much want to jump off from this high in the air. Well, the happy ghast will make sure it goes close to the ground first before it starts to roam around on its own, if that makes sense. So a few other things. It cannot be bred, obviously. Cannot enter boats, which is also obvious. And the other thing is, boats and large mobs can be leashed, but don't fit in a boat, like horses, donkeys, mules, camels, and sniffers, for example, can be leashed in a special quad connection to a happy ghast. And what do I mean by that? Well, hold on, let me do time set date real quick. So you see those villagers and also horse that is stuck in the water right over there. And I still have the leads from earlier. Well, you can pretty much do something like this. And this could be a cool little mini game, like you need to rescue some of the mobs that are stuck in the water. or stuck in boats like these guys. So we're gonna start with this horse right over here. So if I can get low enough to get this horse. It's kind of a bit tricky because there's not much room. Oh, got it. Oh, I forgot I need to shift click. Okay, so with that, we can go high into the air, and look at this. The horse is being lifted up to the air, and it's like you need 4 leads, but you just only used 1. So this is a very useful way to transport mobs, definitely, and safely. So I'm gonna make sure we get good enough above the pen. Okay, so I think we're on the grounds. So you can use the shears to remove the lead. And presto, the horse is back in its pen safely. And again, you can pretty much do the same thing with boats as well as mobs that are in boats.
A few moments later.
So as you can see, we got 1 villager, and we're taking it back up to this house right here. Whoop. Oh, sorry, Mr. Villager. Oh, that's way too close. Yeah, so piloting these happy guests can take some time to master, especially when you're carrying passengers below. You want to make sure you're not trying to get them killed in the process. So once they're over, that's pretty much 1 villager safe. So now let's get the others. And that is the last of the villagers. Let me get you guys out of your boat. And you're now free to go inside that house. So as you can pretty much see, it's a tough job to get mobs back where they need to go, or even transport them. So in the long run, this is very helpful for sky builds, transporting mobs, and other things like that. But you are not limited to just doing any of that. You can go as far to like having multiple happy guests lead to like, I don't know, big mobs like horses, sniffers, as well as even mobs inside boats. And you can even have like a whole train system in the air if you wanted to.
NANI?!
Many possibilities for when you're able to take flight, hence the name of the update, Take to the Skies. And yeah, that is pretty much all there is to it, to the Minecraft 1.21.6 Chase the Skies update. And that, my friends, is gonna wrap up for today's video. So if you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like this, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss another video. Apart from that, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all next week in another command block tutorial video. Goodbye!